Marvel Rivals has taken the world by storm and continues to draw people in, even stating that they plan to release characters more frequently into the game, increasing the amount of new characters to one per month. This has split the internet into a few sections, some who are excited that this will more than likely bring in their oddly specific favorite character, or those who talk out their ass and say Marvel will quickly run out of characters. There's a few thousand mutants alone, 100 known X-Men, something like that. They could do mutants for a decade and still not be done half the characters they have at their disposal. Regardless, more and more YouTubers are releasing character wishlists, leaks, and the like. I've noticed people like to omit or purposely exclude THANOS. With how popular Marvel is thanks to the MCU, even your grandma knows who THANOS is. She probably can name off Iron Man, Gamora, and Doctor Strange too, something that non-comic fans couldn't even do 20 years ago except for those who played Ultimate Alliance. So THANOS coming to the game makes sense. He's extremely popular, had been hyped up for years in the MCU, and has some strong comic ties to Doom, the main antagonist of Marvel Rivals. And yes, I am specifically talking about that one scene. But with the Infinity Gauntlet, he would probably be too powerful as a playable character, right? Or too bland if he didn't have it and just be like another Thing or Hulk, and maybe he would just use his helicopter blades. Some even suggest he could have his broken gauntlet on and only have access to one stone at a time or something like that. While those are all decent ideas, I think I have one that could bring a really unique style of gameplay that stands above those. I agree with everybody though, THANOS would almost have to be a Vanguard, he really couldn't be anything else, and when loading into the match you could have an empty Infinity Gauntlet, with all 6 stones going to each one of the other 6 players on the enemy team, giving them a minor buff. The Space Stone could give an extended jump, or Power Stone could give a small damage buff, and then one of them could give you a health buff, just really minor things like that. Then THANOS would have to proceed through the match, eliminating or assisting an elimination to extract the stones from the enemies that way, adding those buffs to himself as he does so. Then if he was eliminated, the stones would disperse to his teammates and they would receive the buff, and then THANOS, if he wanted to, he could use one of his abilities to, when in range, take one of the stones back from his teammate and apply that buff to himself. This would add a fun element for the opposing team too, and they could almost play like a keep away game, trying to avoid THANOS if they had one of the stones so he couldn't collect them all, and introduce a truly unique gameplay mechanic for every player in the game to experience other than just THANOS himself, as both teammates and enemies could end up with buffs from the stones. Then of course, once THANOS had all 6 stones collected, his ultimate ability would be unlocked and he could either keep all the 6 stones and the buffs for himself, or use his ultimate ability and snap his fingers. The snap could then either remove all the stones from the current round or just release them back to the enemy team at random, but after the damage from the snap was done. Personally, I think it'd be fun if the game took every player currently alive at the start of the snap and calculated which 50% would be immediately dusted. So it would be preferable for THANOS to use the snap when he was the last one alive on his team, taking out 3 players on the enemy team no matter where they were on the map. But you could also run the chance of dusting one of your own teammates if it was a 6v6. Though, team killing would be super annoying to your team of course, so realistically it would be better for it to just do 50% of the enemy's total health to that enemy if it was in range, maybe in a decent sized radius like Storm, Luna, or Doctor Strange have. It would have to be worth the effort of collecting all of the stones and then losing their buffs once the ultimate is used, so it might be better than that. THANOS could also have a beam attack that changes color based off the last stone he obtained. He would also have that stone retrieval ability to get it from your teammates, and maybe swap to give it back to your teammate. You would have a basic melee attack and some form of block that is weaker with the less stones that you have. So if you have all 6 stones, your block is crazy. If you only have 1 or none, your block sucks. Anyways, that is my idea for how THANOS could be implemented into Marvel Rivals, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. If both teams had THANOS, however, I think it would kind of have to be that the buffs didn't stack. That's kind of lame, but 12 Infinity Stones is crazy. And I'm no game developer, so this could be an awful balance idea, but this just came to me while I was in the shower, thinking of THANOS as one does in the shower, and I wanted to share it before I forgot about it. So subscribe if you like this concept. I sometimes do Marvel Rivals videos. Thank you for watching.
Down to 30 seconds.